Okay, Knights of the Zodiac. Let me pull up a little blurb here.
It's a movie
It's a movie.
based off the anime.
Wait,
Knights of the Zodiac.
Let me Google it.
Okay.
Knights of the Zodiac. When a headstrong street orphan he's an orphan, unwittingly taps into hidden powers, he discovers he might be the only person alive who can protect a reincarnated goddess who was sent to watch over humanity. So I know nothing about this. What's it called? This it's based off of anime. I think we watched the first episode of it, and I was not the biggest fan. Very, very poorly written. Very poorly, like the story wise was not very good. And the action also was not very nice. But we watched the first episode, and this is basically just like a bit of the first episode. I guess the entire season, right? So do you have a little bit more knowledge? I think do you want to? Because do you watch anime, Danny Duff?
I've seen a couple animes before.
Yeah, I've never. I think I've only anime.
Pokemon. That's good.
Only anime I've seen fully through was probably Dragon Ball Z, and that's pretty much it. And that's a pretty high bar to compare other things to.
Yeah, well, I mean, Knights of the Zodiac was as around the same popularity as Dragon Ball when they were both
Really?
when they were both running concurrently.
So as an anime fan, lover,
Well, the thing is, I've known about Knights of the Zodiac. I watched the Harmony Gold dub that they did back in 2000s. The same people that did Power Rangers, they dubbed it. I've barely watched this series too. Like, I think the first time I've actually watched it fully was with him yesterday night. They had the first episode of the English dub on their official YouTube channel, because they put like 2 ads about the movie in it. Yeah, I think more people are probably going to watch that first episode on YouTube than they are going to watch this movie, unfortunately. But this is technically their third time trying to bring Knights of the Zodiac to the West. The original
was it the first time?
Original was
Or
obviously the
second
2000s, which is like, you know, when they were just bringing in any anime to the West because it was super popular. Then it was in 2019 or 2018 with that Netflix show
CGI.
that no one really liked because they changed a bunch of stuff. And now this is the third chance, and I don't know, man. I know that in Japan it's probably in the same status as Dragon Ball, or at least there's like one of the animes they're like, oh, if this was milked to the gills like Dragon Ball, it could have been like Dragon Ball, but they never did it. But I don't know. They're trying to branch out outside Japan, but unfortunately they keep on missing.
Thanks. It's been 4 minutes and you haven't commented on the movie itself. I'll start off and say, I think this is the most controversial opinion. Everyone's shitting on this movie. I keep seeing things about, oh, this is Dragon Ball Evolution 2. You know what? I kind of actually liked it. I kind of liked it. Don't get me wrong. The acting was utter garbage. A lot of the story plots was so unnecessary. Like, okay, we'll get into spoilers because no one's gonna fucking watch this movie. But basically, the reason why our Athena character gets caught by her evil mother was because she wanted to take him on a trip to the pier so she can explain why, you know, his father kidnapped the daughter the main character's sister was taken away at a young age. Oh. And then he has a flashback and realizes that this new
Athena is the
Barrymore guy, Sean Bean's character, which he does die obviously because it's fucking Sean Bean. He also helped kidnap. So it's like, what the fuck's going on? And then she's like, okay, let's go somewhere else to talk about it. Instead of it being this is a huge mansion. You could have taken her to like a cellar or like a room or something, but for some reason.
And they were like, don't leave the mansion or the bad guys will find you.
And then the bad guys find her, and then the dad dies. So thank you. That was great. At first I didn't think there was a reason why Sean Bean's character would die, and then I realized, oh, maybe, you know, because it felt very useless. No one got affected, no one died. But then I realized the wife character was like, she had second thoughts because before she was able to go to the 100% depletion of Athena's power, she had like a weird like voice of Boromir saying, oh, you must protect our daughter, even though you don't, whatever. And they're like, oh. But honestly, you know, when you compare it to the anime was garbage, in my opinion. I really did not like the anime. It was a lot of telling and not showing, a lot of being like, you did this to me, I'm gonna do this to you because you did this to me, or you're gonna do this to me, I'm gonna do this to you because you did this to me, because that makes me want to do this to you. So it was a lot of like really explaining and a lot of really bad storytelling. I feel like this did it a lot better, even though it's still, when you compare this, at the end of the day, it's still another generic hero's story movie. They even had a shitty montage where it was like, oh my god, he did it, woo! But honestly, dude, the action I really did like. You know,
Yeah.
I did really appreciate the action. This is like a European / Japanese Asian collaboration, because there's a lot of when it's like Sony and then Toei, like that kind of thing. So you can tell where one has one hand in the cookie jar and then one has another hand in the cookie jar. So when it comes to like the generic, like, because I had really low expectations coming into this, when it comes to the generic, you know, hero's plot, whatever, the hero's story,
Journey?
it doesn't really do anything special. But honestly, like, it was actually like a decent action romp. A lot of really brutal, like, punching people. People get thrown to the wall and they'll land head first down and like a little quirked out and shit. There's some pretty brutal punches in. I feel like this, so far, I would say is the closest thing to a live action anime that we've gotten so far, especially from the ones that because I've only seen Dragon Ball Evolution and I've seen the Tekken live action movie, and both of those were pretty bad, and they don't really resemble, I guess, Mortal Kombat 2, but that's not really an anime, that's like a video game, but like a larger than life animated kind of like action like things. I feel like this was probably the best to, you know, even that, what's it called? What is that anime with the corgi in it?
Corgi. Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop. I think this did a lot better than Cowboy Bebop when it came just to the essence of this. This feels like an anime, but it is live action. And then apparently this was what, 60 million? I know a lot of people were shitting on the CGI when I looked at the reviews. CGI wasn't terrible. I think the worst part about the CGI was those shots of the planes flying. Those planes look so fucking bad.
Well,
and then that final
it said that the production budget was 50 million, but then a news article said it was 60 million. So I guess maybe their $10 million.
But dude, 60
maybe $10 million was the marketing budget.
Yeah, but like, clearly not. I didn't hear anything about this fucking.
Well, $10
movie.
million is not much for a marketing budget.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you see a $150 million movie, then they have another $150 million to do the marketing for that.
But I think you made me lose my. Oh yeah, I think the worst CGI is when the bad guy and then the good guy, they don their armor. And they're having like this really weird action scene where they're just like pew, 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 pew. And that looked really bad. The CGI was the least realistic, but it's a very clean like movie. Like the freaking main character climbs a huge mountain, yet his hair is still nice and his clothes aren't dirty, and then he gets beat up and his hair is still nice, but he has a little bit of blood on his face, but his clothes are still nice. And I like how at the end scene when like the final battle's over and he's just standing there, he's all ripped out and shit, and he's like, I'm here to save you, Athena. It was so fucking weird. Apparently this is the son of Sony Chiba, Japanese martial arts legend, which is crazy, which is obviously, that's probably why he got the gig in the first place. Also, he has a very, like, I thought he was like a K-pop star. He looks like a K-pop star. But when you look at the anime, the character does look like a boy. But it's weird because he looks really young, and then she looks like a 34-year-old woman.
Yeah.
So it's like, save the girl. I'm like, the girl? What the hell? So it's a bit weird, but overall, I would say, for me, this is the closest thing to an anime live action that you could get. It actually, the story points and the dialogue is a lot better than the actual anime. Because from the one episode I saw, it was horrendous. Oh my gosh, I did not like it. I know there's fans of, again, this was the English dub too, so that could be the reason why it sounds different.
That was a more
toned down thing.
No, the English dub that we watched yesterday, it was one that was more akin to the Japanese.
Really? Okay,
yeah. Because they released an original English dub, which censored a bunch of things and made it more westernized.
Yeah.
But this one was more like closer.
The
to
only
the
dialogue I felt like when it came down to like being like a really cheesy anime was when she releases the computers and then the big guy's like, "You fool!" I think that was the most.
Yeah, I was like, what the?
That was a very anime, but for the most part, it just felt like the dialogue is probably the worst part. The best part is the action scenes. I wish there was maybe another one, maybe two more, because like I feel like those scenes really elevated the film to where it really felt like, hey, this is more than just like a shitty CGI fest, even though it is a pretty lackluster CGI fest. I think that the uniqueness of the action felt like Hong Kong cinema, just steady cam footage of just brutal punches and kicks, even though I feel like most of it is like a lot of wire work, a lot of CGI, but I feel like it did justice to what it was doing, and I'd give this a 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, 5.
Maybe a 2, But right now, I think it's a 2.5. I think there was enough action scenes to where it helped it. The performances, you know, from Sean Bean and from the lady from X-Men, I think they were fine. I don't think there was great, but the worst part was probably the Athena character. That was pretty bad. And then the Sonny Chiba's son, I think he was okay. Obviously, it's not the greatest, but again, I feel like as an anime, you're not gonna get like a realistic acting from those voice acting. So I think for what it was, 2.5 out of 5, a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. This is definitely not the best anime live action adaptation. I think the best one I've watched was probably the original,
like Death Note.
The original live action Death Note. But what helps with Death Note is that Death Note's a story that doesn't need to be.
It's
anime.
a lot based in reality. Yeah. It's not like well, I'm talking about those kind of animes.
Well, there's also another live action one called Rurouni Kenshin. It was a samurai anime that they got adapted, and it's pretty much like a modern day samurai movie.
Yeah, but was
really
it like
cool? Just the problem is that the original creator is a pedophile, so now it's like, well, can't really. But I digress. It's honestly, I think they could have made things go by faster and add more to the story. Because right now, I felt like this arc could have covered like maybe
half a season.
No, what they showed in this thing, I think you could have shrunk it down to 40 minutes or like an hour, because there's a second guy, and he's like the actual bad guy. And
you don't even fucking like.
And he doesn't reveal. Yeah, he doesn't reveal himself to be the main bad guy until like the last 10 minutes. I feel like if they dealt with that whole parent plot in the first like third or half of the movie, and then they dealt with the second half being with the other Knight of the Zodiac or the bad guy Zodiac, then it would have been much better. Because because I wanted to see more of the armor, because you barely get it. You see a bit of it in the like the halfway point when they're training, but you don't really see it until the final act.
Yeah, but when you see it, looks so bad.
Yeah,
it looks so bad.
Like the Pegasus is supposed to be like very like. These Knights of the Zodiac people, they sell like a lot of action figures in Japan because they look very colorful and shiny and all that. But these guys look very dull. The Pegasus one is supposed to be red, but this one is like blue for some reason.
Blue and silver.
But then the Phoenix is also red too, so I guess that would have been a weird thing. But I think if they really went into the whole anime thing and made the suits more toyetic, like a Power Rangers thing, because this felt like a Power Rangers kind of origin story. A guy goes in and gets the Power Ranger power, and bada bing bada boom, he saves the day. I feel like if they quickened up the pace, added a bit more to it, it would have been nice. We saw like a little interview during the pre-show, and it was like some romance, like, oh, this is a deep romance, and all that stuff. But they only share like a couple conversations. The main character is kind of a prick to her at the beginning, and she's kind of
that first scene when they're eating breakfast is so bad. So bad.
Yeah, they're kind of like clashing with each other.
Forced romance.
Like when we watched the first episode, he already knew Athena or something, I think, or I don't know. Like,
no, he grew up with the mask lady.
Yeah,
he grew up
in the anime. He kind of grew like he was an orphan, and he was taken in by that these fighting people, and then he was trained up, and as well as what the other minor villain, he was trained up as well.
They're trying to spin some like X-Files thing where like the sister gets kidnapped, and now that's it's weird.
Yeah, I don't remember there being I felt like that masked lady might have been the sister.
It was no, because she's clearly a white lady with purple hair.
No, the masked lady.
Yeah, in the movie. Or
I think that was a sister.
I don't know. Who knows?
That was my prediction as well.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, like she couldn't, because she said that she was bound to the island or something.
Different skin complexion.
So that's why she did not. What a different skin complexion is where she's wearing a mask. You can't see her skin.
See her arms.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Anyways, continue.
What's the difference between a half Asian, half white person?
Oh, true. Yeah, they're mixed, right?
They're mixed.
Continue.
So they would have gotten bullied in Japan.
Continue.
But this was a pretty mid movie.
Very mid.
It inspired me to write something better, so that's nice. I feel like I think this movie probably would have been better if they had a lower budget and they were forced to like be more fun with it. I felt like this was a very like, okay, we gotta make a movie that will attract the audiences in North America. What's popular? Oh, superheroes. Okay, let's do a superhero origin story, but let's not put all of our eggs in one basket, because we need to make sequels too. And yeah,
How does that make sense though? If you want more suit action but you want a lower budget, how are they gonna do that?
We do like Power Rangers. Yeah, I don't know where the budget went.
Yeah. It did not look like it cost 50 million.
50 million.
Honestly, no. Some sequences look pretty good. Like
Yeah.
some CGI sequences, like, oh, that looks pretty expensive. You know, when they're in the training mode, and you see like that big head.
You don't think they could have done
But
this?
I feel like a lot of like the visual stuff, it looked visually ugly.
Yeah.
Like it looked like one of those like not ugly in that kind of sense, but like it looked like a YouTube Corridor Digital movie.
It was very dark.
I would have been very impressed if this was made by Corridor Digital.
Yeah.
But it's a real movie that we saw in a movie theater.
Yeah.
That costed $60 million.
I've seen TikTok people make better CGI, like better, cooler CGI action sequences just by themselves over the course of a few months, and this probably had a full team of people to do the CGI.
Huge team of people.
And I think they shot this movie in 2021, so it's just finally it came out earlier this year in Japan. It just came out on Friday here, and there's only like maybe 9-10 people in the entire theater that holds 100.
Yeah, a lot of older people too. I know.
Yeah, I mean they probably grew up in the 80s with the show or something. Because this is an old anime. This is like,
and it didn't even last that long, right? Like you said, like a couple years, and then that's it.
no, it's still going. Like they had
really?
they had like 2 seasons in Japan, and like the first season went on for like 100 something episodes, and then they made a second season, and then they made a bunch of sequel movies, and then they made requels, and then
But sticking to this movie,
yeah. So in this movie, maybe we need to check out that rebooted Netflix one. Maybe you'll like that.
no, no.
Well, you said that the writing was like.
I said the writing was better than the anime, but again, I'm not a big fan of anime writing, so it could just be my opinion. And I'm also a big sucker for really well done action, and the action on this was pretty well
action.
done.
I like the action. I think that was the best part. I wanted more action, more suit time. Yeah, it was. I think it's better than I expected, but it was.
Yeah, it was better than I expected.
But I was hoping it would be worse.
So
I was hoping it would have been so bad it's good, but instead it was kind of like mid.
Yeah, that's.
So it was kind of just like, oh, I gotta.
Some decent actors, you know, some pretty well-known faces. You have the guy from Hunter x Hunter. You have the guy.
Who's the guy from Hunter x Hunter?
The main, the Mohawk guy.
Oh,
I think he's also in a few
Cassius
other...
Cassius.
Cassinitis or whatever.
Cassius, yeah. In the anime, Cassius is like a 7-foot tall, brown-skinned guy with snake eyes. When in this one, he's like
Nick Stahl.
He's just like your generic featherweight MMA fighter or something. Not featherweight, sorry,
3.
welterweight.
He was in Terminator 3, so.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was John Connor.
He was John Connor in Terminator 3.
Shit.
Yeah, that's why I remember.
I'm like, I recognize him from something.
But he's also from Hunter x Hunter, so.
Yeah.
That's when you would recognize.
Hunter x Hunter, we watched that. It was.
He's also in Thin Red Line. He's in he's in Sin City. I forgot. Yeah.
Was he in Sin City?
Yeah.
I think he's the yellow guy. I could be.
Oh,
wrong.
really? Wow. I mean, Knights of the Zodiac is quite a big name, so it's probably a good thing.
Rourke Jr. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing some behind the scenes stuff with this production.
Yeah. Also, theater review. Usually, I like to do the movie review and then theater review. Movie review is a 5 out of 10.
Well,
maybe
wait
a
1
4
second. Let's wait for your theater review. Let's ask Danny Duff.
Wait, you didn't get your review?
Oh, I give this like a 4.5 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10. Okay.
What do you 4 out of 10?
That was me. I really liked the opening fight scene. That one was awesome. I think
Strong
that was
opening,
probably the best. Yeah, I agree. I think it did a very good job of translating like the anime fight style to live action, which most movies are not good at doing. And then I think it was kind of downhill from that moment on.
Yeah.
Some of the other fights were pretty good, but yeah, when the CG stuff came in, it looked pretty bad. The dialogue was pretty bad. The acting was not good.
No.
Very, very generic hero's journey story. Sean Bean is fine, but it's not doing anything Sean Bean hasn't done before.
Exactly.
He shows up and he's like, let me tell you about the gods, and then I'm gonna die or whatever. It's like, all right, it could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been any Sean Bean movie from the last 20 years.
basically.
The action was very. Yeah, I thought the action had no business being as good as it was.
Yeah.
In this movie.
The score was actually pretty decent. I actually like the score.
Yeah.
It's very forgettable. But for what it was,
it's because they made an orchestral version of the actual theme song throughout the movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was hoping that when the credits hit, they'd play like the actual theme song, like the legit version of it. But then they just
Play fucking Shine Bright Like a Diamond, some bullshit like that.
some generic pop song that you hear on the radio.
What is Sony? So it's probably a Sony Music Group artist or whatever.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I thought it was
I agree.
not very good.
The beginning was actually pretty decent, but it's quite a big difference from the actual anime, which I mean, I guess it's fine. Like in the anime, the first episode, they're literally fighting to figure out who becomes the next Pegasus person, and then obviously the main character wins. He beats the main antagonist of this movie. Well, not main, one of the side antagonists of this movie, and then he gets it. Like in like 20 minutes in the first episode, you already see him get into the suit. But on this one, it took like an hour, right? Like he didn't get into the suit for until an hour, and it was only for like one punch, and then he disintegrates, and then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that wasn't even the full armor. Remember, it was like a side plate.
Yeah.
But when he fully gets into it's like an hour and 40 minutes in.
So yeah, the last 15 minutes of the movie.
15 minutes of the movie, he gets up to do a bunch of fucking Avengers Age of Ultron action.
And then he like one shots the guy that just beat him up.
No. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They jump. He punches him. The guy falls down and he just explodes.
And then he goes to the Athena lady, and that's what defeats him. He doesn't really defeat him. He just gets incapacitated for a little while. But, I don't know. Maybe because I had such low expectations going into this that I was actually genuinely impressed by like some of the production value was a bit like pretty good. Like those action sequences again.
Yeah, this movie had a lot of potential.
Like when that guy had the gun and he was like shoo. That was actually
he was cool.
That was dope.
He's probably my favorite character.
He's in John Wick 3. I think.
Yeah, he's in John Wick 3. He's great, and he fit perfectly. Like I think that like he's like perfect for like a live action anime type thing. Like he gets the vibe and the tone like perfectly, where it's like kind of goofy but not quite like. He found the balance perfectly. Everyone else was like all over the place. Where like sometimes it was like really goofy and sometimes it was like super serious and it like didn't match.
Yeah, the biggest fault is that the two main protagonists, you don't really get they're not really convincing at all through their dialogue and through their performances.
No.
It's like oof.
They were probably just hired for their looks.
Hey, rich girl. Hey, street boy. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, and they try to do like, oh, they don't get along at first, but then they grow to like each other. But they had like 2 scenes together.
Yeah, literally.
So it was like there's no time for them to grow to like each other.
Right, exactly. Like
they
fucking
just decided that they liked each other.
Like Neo and Trinity have more fucking
Yeah.
chemistry than these people. It's crazy. And it's weird. He was like, oh, I'm a starving martial artist. You never know when your next meal will come. He takes his shirt off. He's all beefy and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
He was so, like, he took like one bite and she's like, wow, you're eating a lot of food. He's like, is he? Like,
He's just like...
he's just eating normally.
Yeah, and he just went through like a life-altering experience where he almost died and got...
And you gave him food to eat. Like, what are you talking about?
And then you look at her plate. It's like a untoasted piece of bread. It's like, what the fuck is going on? But it's like, you know, most people would be what's it called? Most people would be happy to be eating breakfast with a god. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm not most guys. Like, oh God.
Yeah,
some of the dialogue was pretty memorable, but for how bad it was. Yeah. So it's like, oof.
They were actually hinting at the main antagonist, like the final main antagonist throughout the movie. Like, oh, Phoenix. There was a couple mentions of Phoenix.
There was a couple mentions, but like
who's Phoenix?
Then randomly this one guy who was like, now I'm the bad guy, and that was all his build up, basically.
Oh, so what happened to that bodyguard? The bodyguard dreads.
Oh yeah, there was he gets like,
I guess nothing happens. I guess he dies.
He's like, he stands off with these guys, gets punched once, and he's like knocked out clean. And then he's getting interrogated. The guy reads his mind to find out his fear.
Yeah, because he can't be physically tortured.
But he couldn't read his mind to find out the answers that he wanted for some reason.
No, he tortured. Yeah, that's how they find him. He mentally. He goes inside his mind and then brings up a big, massive centipede. He's like, please make it stop. No, please. It's a big bug. I'm afraid of bugs.
I mean, it's a
and
centipede.
then the next scene is when the... Centipede, yeah.
I mean, you're scared of a centipede that goes into your room.
Yeah, because what if it crawls my ear and shit?
Yeah, what if that centipede crawled in his ear? But it's a really big one, so it would have been painful, right?
Yeah. Well, what'd you give it numerically?
Oh, Like a 4 out of 10. Or something.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, so it's a,
Wow, you have the highest. Usually, I'm very cynical with these movies.
Yeah.
But,
it's a pretty mid movie.
very mid. Yeah.
I think I don't know how they really could have put more fit more things into it, made it go a bit more faster.
Yeah, I was starting to fall asleep a couple times.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if they put more of that.
Really, because I felt like the montage where he trains to become the warrior was very rushed. But that could be that he's already like a decent fighter as it is. So
I think they didn't do the montage correctly.
No, it wasn't.
They didn't do the montage well enough where it felt like, oh, he did it after a span of time. They should have done like a Rocky montage or something.
Yeah.
Maybe without no like crazy music, but like.
There was some crazy music.
Yeah.
A lot of generic epic music.
Yeah, I like the music. I like the action sequences. I didn't like bit of the I can suspend my disbelief a lot, so I don't care about CGI as long as it's not like some really bad. You can see the green screen and the freaking Nintendo 64 graphics on the screen. But like, if you give me some PS3 graphics or Xbox original graphics, I think I'll be fine.
It was like that. I would say it was like that.
Like a PS3?
Like those pre-rendered teaser story trailers. It's basically like that, but for like 110 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He gave it a 5 out of 10. I gave it a 4.5.
Maybe I'd say a 4.8.
No, keep
because those dialogue scenes are really bad.
Give it a 5. It really needs it.
What is 4? What's the difference between a 4.8 and a 4.9?
Like a 2 out of 5. I'd give it.
Why is it not?
I don't know, because like those action scenes are really
Would you buy the 4K Blu-ray for this?
No, fuck no.
That's why it's not a 5.
No, okay, I guess so, yeah. I'd say
if it's a 5, he would be willing to buy it.
4.5 out of 10. I was contemplating a Blu-ray if it was like on Black Friday or something, because I like those action scenes. They're pretty, because I'm just so used to like shitty.
Look up the action scenes on YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Like I'm just so used to really bad shaky cam CGI where every hit they cut to a different angle. Like it's really refreshing to see.
I feel like action's been pretty good lately.
Yeah, with John Wick and that kind of stuff. Equalizer when you get the shooty stuff.
Yeah, they've been a lot more. Hollywood has been a lot more open to taking from, Chinese cinema and all those action sequences.
And then when it comes to the theater review, because our thoughts on the movie was, it was mid. It was a nice time going out. It's nice weather. I got we got popcorn, we got M&Ms. But when it comes to the theater review, it was okay. My problem with Dungeons and Dragons was that it was right in front of a window. So even with because how the doors work is there is a door, but there's a pane of glass. But on the outside of the theater, there was like a window with full sun beaming through it. So my entire experience of watching Dungeons and Dragons, there was like a beam of light on the bottom left.
And this time around, we were in the theater that was actually right across from it. So instead of number 23, we were in 24.
Yeah. My only problem was there's these two. This is an older couple behind me, and they had allergies, so I kept hearing. I kept hearing.
That's probably me.
No, like I heard it behind me.
Oh. Usually I don't eat all the popcorn when I'm watching a movie, but today I did eat all the popcorn.
It was like, and then like a lot of opening pistachios or sunflower seeds behind me.
Oh.
Besides that, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't the worst, but again, it got my nerves. But again, I can, so I'm not watching like Beau's Afraid, or I'm not watching Oppenheimer, where that would really piss me off. So I'd give the theater review a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty good experience.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I think the only way for me to give a bad review is like if people are like talking multiple times during the movie, like really loudly, or
like the Northman experience was like a 3 out of 10.
Or if I get caught getting a refill and they say, "Hey, you can't get refills."
It says that you can't get refills, but like who's gonna
care? When I worked here for like 2-3 years. I never stopped anyone.
Yeah, they said not to because they'd rather not want to deal with that confrontational.
Yeah, but unless the manager is there, then they'll be like, "Hey, you can't get refills."
But you, Danny, what's your thoughts on the theater?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, everyone was here to watch Guardians of the Galaxy or
SpongeBob, not SpongeBob.
Blackberry.
Superman, Super Mario Brothers. Sorry, not Superman.
Yeah.
I need to watch Guardians of the Galaxy in IMAX.
What other movies came out this Friday?
Blackberry,
and Knights of Zodiac. So quite the big hitters.
So yeah. those were our thoughts on Knights of the Zodiac. Let me know down below if you've watched it. You probably haven't, but I think it was okay.
What do you guys think about the anime? He said the anime sucks. I think it's just aged.
It's poorly aged. Well, again, I'm not the biggest fan of
Well, I
anime.
mean, you've watched the first episode of Gundam from 1979. You actually liked that.
That was a lot better, yeah.
Well, that was also not. Well, I guess that was kind of for kids, but like they had a competent.
Yeah,
but it was also made. It was made for.
Can
anime.
we say our general consensus is that it's a 4 out of 10?
Yeah,
4 out of 10. I'd say that.
probably just
Yeah.
wait for it to come on like your local streaming service because this is definitely
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be.
definitely a streaming movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even watching it in theaters, it's like, I didn't really got. I guess maybe
We got the free tickets.
the sounds.
also.
The sounds. Well, I paid $10 a month for it. But
Oh yeah, we got free tickets, but it was like, oh, we have to use our last free tickets on this. that was the feeling.
But yeah, 4 out of 10. Let me know down below if you've watched this. If you haven't, anyway, I don't know why I usually say that. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I am Mason from the Mock Buster YouTube channel, featuring Ali from the Zionic Blader
Yeah,
YouTube
I'm John
channel.
Blader and Danny Duff.
Danny Duff from the Danny. Oh yeah,
From Danny Duff.
Yeah.
yeah. Peace out. I'll see you guys next time. Long live physical.
Oh yeah, if you like Bionicle or nerd stuff, make sure you
Check out
subscribe to Danny Duff.
Bionicles. Didn't you do
He's doing Teen
Danny
Titans right
Phantom?
Yeah, Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom.
Teen Titans.
PS2
those.
games.
Yeah, sometimes.
PS2 games, yeah.
Yeah, PS2
Nice.
Tuesdays.
I feel like Beyblades and Bakugan,
Bakugan.
if you know what that is. Hit them up. Anyways, peace out. Shazam.
Damn.